Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our webinar today. Happy New Year to all of you. Thank you for joining us today. We're delighted to have Steve Waltz with us. He is our Director of New Client Engagement here at Inovia Consulting, and Steve will be presenting on using CRM in Business Central. And as a reminder, we are recording this webinar and we will post it to our on-demand webinar library for you to review again or share with anyone. And you can find our library under our resources tab on our website, inovia.com. And we encourage you to ask questions during our presentation, so please feel free to type them into the questions box and we will get them answered during our Q&A time at the end of our session. So now I'm going to turn it over to Steve to kick off our presentation.
Well, thank you, Angie. Welcome, everybody. I appreciate you taking time out of your busy day. As Angie said, the webinar today is called Using CRM in Your Business Central. And as Angie said, my name is Steve Waltz. I'm the Director of New Client Engagement here at Inovia. I'm excited about this presentation. I've been in the great field of sales for getting close to 35 years. And I think with my background and having all the different positions I've held, my goal is to give you a 360 view of the relationship management today. And one of the things I'm most proud of, I've been a salesperson. I've carried the bag. I've had many different roles. I've been involved in new product launches, sales training, sales management, and cross-marketing teams, functional teams, and now the Director of New Client Engagement at Inovia for going close to 7 years. So my contact information is on here. What I want to do is just kind of review the agenda. So I want to ask you a question. What is the reason you're using relationship management? Or what is the reason you want to use it? And the reason I ask that is that it's going to be a different answer if you're an owner of a company, if you're a sales manager, if you're an operations, or you're a salesperson, because at the end of the day, we need to understand the why as a company, right? The consensus. What is the goal of why we're using the system? And also we're going to discuss on how do you align this with your sales process? Because within the opportunities of the relationship management, there are sales cycles. And well, first off, if you have a sales process, congratulations. A lot of companies I talk with think they have a sales process. Saying that you're just going to show up and talk about how great your company is and your prices, that's more of a story. It's not of a sales process. So we need to understand, and hopefully you'll gather the information, the data, right, of what's been successful for you and what your metrics are as far as win probability for those. And lastly, we're going to get into taking a look at the relationship management in Business Central, and it's a very robust system. And so for time's sake, what we're going to talk about are the things that can help you close more deals. So when I talk with either owners of companies or people in the C-suite, everybody seems to be tasked with increasing revenue, right? Not many CEOs I talk with say that they just want to hopefully maintain their market share and not grow, right? So it's very important. So at the end of the day, the goal is to help you utilize the software for that. So let's talk about the failure rate of relationship management of CRM. Approximately 2/3 of CRM implementations are considered failures. 2/3, that's a huge number. And if you think about ERP systems, which runs all facets of your business, right? Financials, operations, that's closer to a third, around 30% never go live. So why is it that a contact management system, a customer relation management system, the failure rate is so much higher? Okay, and a lot of that has to do with the understanding the why behind it, because who puts the information in the CRM? It's the salespeople, right? And what happens is a lot of times when I get to the why behind CRM is that if you purchase it and invest it thinking for management that we want it to see for forecasting, we want to see it for resourcing, we want to see it for that's great. But that should not be the main reason, right? If the main reason is that we want to increase sales, we need to help build it with the salespeople. I've talked with organizations that have actually built this out and never consulted with their top salespeople or talked to them about how tell me about your day is, tell me how you move deals down the pipeline. We need to have that mindset of reverse engineering for it and understand why, because the number one reason for failure rate on relationship management is because of adoption. right? Because if you know, in accounting, you have month end, you have to have deadlines to meet. But if a salesperson doesn't put an activity in, it doesn't shut your business down, right? So we need to make it to where we reverse engineer it for the salespeople to do their job. And the slide I have here is the mindset of a sales hunter, of a salesperson, what we want to do, right? Because you know, one of the hardest things to do on these type of webinars is that you might have somebody that's in a not-for-profit that maybe is just using the relationship management for looking for donations. And you might have somebody that's more of a one and done meeting type sales. But then you have the ones that are the main users of it. Maybe there's a process involved, a larger sales cycle, and we want to use this to help us. So when we have that focus to where let's reverse engineer it to help their salesperson do their jobs, it tends to go better since they enter the data in. And if we can make it simple for them to put the data in and help them sell more stuff, then you're getting a more accurate pipeline, because that wonderful chart we're going to take a look at is only as good as the deals that are put in the CRM system. So understanding the why is important. Now, I stole this slide from Mike Weinberg, and it talks about, okay, what is the mindset of a salesperson, right? It's to really bring deals in the pipeline. That's your sales funnel, right? It's it's reversed. The top of where it says targeted, those are the deals that you're hunting for to put in the pipeline. And then really where the CRM, the relationship management, can help you is in that active stage, the advanced stage. So what do I need to do to move this deal down the pipeline to win it, right? Till we get to the close. So, you know, basically, you know, it can be a third of time spent for each. And what it also has on here is that it's, you know, is we need to ask ourselves, when we can utilize this relationship management to help us have these questions answered, what proactive sales activities have we done to bring new deals in? And what are our current opportunities look like? So if you're going to have meetings, and I recommend at least meeting once a week or once a month, depending on the size of your company. If you have an opportunity review meeting, you're reviewing your current opportunities. Do we need resources? You know, what do we need to do to move this forward? Where a pipeline review is talking about, okay, let's talk about what you've done to bring deals in. Okay, are you talking with new customers? Are you talking with prospective customers, current customers? And you know, at the end of the day, if you can make those one meeting, but you know, those are discussions that need to happen. So let's talk about defining your sales process, because it's very important. To make it to where it's on the right side of the numbers for an implementation, we need to have your sales process defined, because hope's not a strategy. I mean, you know, the research has shown wide ranges of companies that have sales processes. And you know, when I talk with folks, a sales process, like I said, isn't to where, okay, the salesperson makes a call, they talk about how great their company is and their products are, and you know, would you sign here? That's, you know, that's a story that most likely needs to be redefined. But the sales process is to go from point A to point B to point C to close, right? And you can have multiple sales cycles, and we'll talk about that, because you might have different deals. Maybe you have some small current customers, maybe you have some large ones, or maybe you have, it's a different process for a new one. So we need to understand that so we can adjust that in our opportunities to have a more accurate pipeline. And I also have it on here, we want to make it so your sales reps want to enter the data, not avoid it. If the number one reason people don't put it in, and the number one reason for failure is adoption, then we need to make it easy for the sales team to want to use it, okay? And the last thing I have on here is that we need to use it for sales coaching, not compliance. All professionals like to know what to do. They don't like to be told what to do. And for some reason, everybody wants to know the activity of the salespeople. Okay, so what I recommend is that, you know, if we're looking at activities and you think, okay, you know, they need more activities, that's a separate one-off conversation, not to be done in a group type setting. But we need to use it for coaching. We can expose, maybe people bring deals in, but they have trouble closing them. So that data can tell you, look, they might need some sales coaching on how to close, or vice versa. Maybe they close all their deals, but they need some help on hunting for new deals. So those are things that relationship management can help you. So what we're going to do now is talk about the software that's in Business Central. So let me go ahead and pull that up here. So what's really cool is that the Microsoft Business Central is a Microsoft product. And what I have open here is I have Office 365 open. And so the version I'm going to show you is the Business Central SaaS version, subscription as a service. Now you can have it on premise. It's going to work. It just connects a little bit differently. But what you can see here is to get the full usage out of your system, we recommend using Office 365. And you can see here on the side here, you can see the tiles where it has Word, it has Excel, it's the whole suite of Microsoft products. So if I click on my waffle here, you're going to see that I have my Power BI tied to my Office account, my Power Automate, my Business Central over here, and even Outlook. But one of the things I want to show you, which is pretty cool, is that this is the Outlook that's in my Office 365. And if I talk with sales managers or salespeople, we want to keep it simple, right? And I know a lot of sales reps don't like signing in and out of different software packages. So one of the neat things about Business Central, the relationship management, it's inherent within the system. You're not connected to anything. So what we have done here is Business Central has a connector to Office 365. And so we have connected our Office to our Business Central. And if you look here, I got an email today from Jeff Progalski. And Jeff is asking here, hey, Steve, I'd like to order some of this product. So if I'm a salesperson that's coming in to work in the morning, I'm like, hey, I'm fired up, and I get an order right off the bat. And so what you can do here is if you look at the email, if I click on the little ellipticals here, you can see down below it says, just like any other email, you want to reply, you want to delete it, but it says Business Central. So it's connected to my Business Central. So I'm going to click on Contact Insights. So what it's going to do, it's going to see if Jeff is a contact within my Business Central. Obviously he is, because I've transacted with Jeff. So what it's doing is searching right now, and it's going to pull up his company card. So Jeff works for Spotsmeyer. And you can see here, it kind of gives you a snapshot of Spotsmeyer, like what's their current balance, if they have any outgoing sales orders, what information. But Jeff wants to place an order for 25 cases of Logitech. So I'm going to click on add here where it says new. And so Jeff's not asking for a quote, he's asking for an order. And so like I said, as a salesperson, you're pretty excited about that. So I'm going to click on sales order, and it's going to pop up. And what it does, it uses AI. It has this business intelligence that it can recognize things in the email. And if you look here, Jeff is asking for 25 cases of this item number, and he wants them by January 30th. So it recognizes that item number, the description, and then the quantity. So I'm like, that's pretty cool. So what I want to do is go ahead and click here because I want to add this to a sales order, and I'm going to click the arrow to go ahead and get started. So as it's doing that, it's going to really pull up the card just to make sure that I'm reviewing what I want to do. So it has Spotsmeyer listed, Jeff as the contact. Now, one of the things he asked by is he wants them by January 30th. So the requested date that I'm going to put in here, click on the elliptical here, is January 30th, which is on a Sunday. Okay, so I want to update it. It says it's before the work date, so it's going to have to ship a little bit earlier before it's going to release that, because you're not going to ship on a Sunday. So as you can see here, I got it listed on that date. I can scroll down to see if there's any other details. Make sure their taxing group is set. Sales department code is on there. Okay, it looks good to go. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna click on my three dots here. And what this is gonna do is gonna pull up what I wanna do with it. Well, I wanna email Jeff the actual quote. So if I scroll down here, it'll say print send email confirmation. So I wanna send an email confirmation. So what it's gonna do, it's gonna pull up an email right here that I can edit, and I wanna send to Jeff. So it pulls up a sales order. I'm going to go ahead and put preview. I want to make sure it's exactly what we want to do, right? So remember, we wanted to send Jeff an order for 25 Logitech items, and it looks good. All right. All right. So what I'm going to do here is it pulls up Hello Spotsmeyer. That's what we have set up. So I'm going to customize this one to Jeff. But hello, Jeff, thank you for it. I'm going to send him the sales quote. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to write that sales order number down. That way, if I want to track it later on, 1556. So I just hit send. And so I sent Jeff a sales quote, a sales order for that item. Pretty cool stuff. So if I was a salesperson, I'd be very interested in stuff like that. So what I have up here is I have the sales and sales manager, relationship manager, role center for Business Central. And as a sales manager, what I want to see are certain things, right? I don't need to see some of the financial information that an accountant wants to see. If if you notice up here on my ribbon, I have things that normally I want to see. I want to understand who my contacts are, opportunities. And if I scroll down, you can kind of see here, I have them in tile form. And this gives you a whole plethora of items that you might want to see and have access to throughout your day. But this is the stuff I want to see more currently. So I can see I have 200 company contacts, 389 personal contacts. Now we're kind of getting the meat thing. Right now I have 53 opportunities for my sales team. And you can set your metrics how you want. So what I have here, you can see it's green. So we have 3 opportunities that are supposed to be closing in the next 7 days. That's a good thing. But now you look over here, I have 35 overdue opportunities. So that means my sales team maybe needs to update their opportunities, their stages, their dates. And so that's obviously a conversation I need to have with them. And you can even see your open sales quotes, open sales order, and I even have an active marketing campaign, which is pretty cool because you have access to using the data within the system to create marketing campaigns. And then let's say if I have approving timesheets, I can put it here on my dashboard. And this is something that can be customized. And one of the things I do want to show you, if I click on search here, search will be your friend in Business Central, and I type in the word roles. So it'll pull up, it pulls up profiles or roles. So if I click on this, it's going to show all the dashboards, all the role centers that are preset. Okay, you can see here, you have accounting dashboards, you have business manager dashboards, shipping folks, and you can see here I have it for my sales team and myself, sales manager, whoever. So it's pretty cool how you have those already preset, but they're meant to be customized. So I did customize a few things on my ribbon, and those are things that you would work with either your partner with or something that you can learn how to do. So let's get to the meat of it, right? What everybody's interested in the sales funnel, the sales pipeline. And as you can see here, it shows your funnel, all the different stages. Here's the top end of your funnel, right, at qualification, all the way to work down to win or close. And what is your sales pipeline built on? Well, it's built on your opportunities. And if you look over the opportunities, it shows all the salespeople in a pie chart. And if I kind of hover over, you can see here I have 3 opportunities, and I click on Tom. Tom has 8. And they're all drillable. So if I click on it, it's going to pull up all the opportunities that that person has on it. So I'm going to come back down here. And one of the things too that I want to know as a sales manager, it says top 5 opportunities. So you can see here that CCM is a $500,000 opportunity. But you can actually have this customized to what you want. So if you want to drill in and see where things are at, you can. Now, one of the cool things is that Power BI, right? So we use Power BI and there's templates you can use. And if you click on the Power BI reports here, you can see here that you can select a different report if you have them on. You can expand the report. Let's say I want to see a little bit better because my eyes aren't as good as they used to be. I'm going to pop that out right here. And you can see here that it's my net revenue and gross margin report. And if I even click on here, I can even pop that out if I want to and kind of get some more information. This is all drillable, by the way. Okay. You know, one of the things too, if you go back to the opportunities, where this just shows the progress for a month here for the opportunities. If I click on here, we can actually view, be more specific on what we want to drill in. I want to see all the ones in progress for the quarter. So I can filter for that. I can see all the one, and you can use it by what status, and you can even run it through a time periods. So it's pretty cool stuff that's available on the dashboard. So what I like to do is kind of get into contacts, because one of the things that I've been brought up to is that I've been told when I was with my previous employer, no salespeople in the ERP system. Well, this is part of the ERP system, right? The salespeople can have full access to the relationship management. So this one right here, what Business Central has done is that it's really based on your contacts. So if I click on contacts here, it shows all the individual people that we have, right? We have individuals in the bold or company. So if I scroll down here, you can see here like Gibson Law Firm, right? They're bold, that's the parent account. And then we have the people that are underneath it that are affiliated with it, their email addresses, the phone numbers, if who they're assigned to as a salesperson on it. But what I want to do is I want to search and find a customer that I want to look at. And if you notice here, there's a search bar here, right, under contacts, and there's a search bar here. So if I search over here under the contacts, I'm looking for a company called Spotsmeyer. And there's Spotsmeyer right there. So this is as you take a look at the customer card, you can see that there's 4 contacts. So they have some statistics here on the side that you can see, but I want to click on Spotsmeyer. Let's take a look at it. Because when I pull it up, you can see it says contact card right here. It doesn't say customer card. So you're transacting in the contact card, okay? And the customers is listed here. There's a customer number. What type is it? It's a company, not a person. Either a customer, not a vendor, and who's the salesperson. So I'm assigned to them. And then you can see some of the history of transactions that have happened. So if you look down here, you can see that there's been some sales orders that have been confirmed, and you can scroll down and you can see some other sales quotes, tasks. It's kind of nice. You can see the activities of what you've done, right? There's an outgoing phone call and the date. One of the things I want to really hit on is if you look down here where it says profile questionnaire, this is what makes it very powerful, because what you can do is you can now get a little bit more granular on the either the contact, the individual contact, or the customer to find out down the road how you want to use this data to help you sell more product or service. Because if you can see here that Spotsmeyer is, they're using very low discount codes, because you can see here they only transact less than 3 times a year this last year and the current year, which puts them below a low revenue threshold, which we consider bottom 25% of our accounts. So you can see here we got them listed as a C account, and this is good information to know. Maybe let's say you're looking to do a promotion, and you want to send out a coupon to your best customers. Now, when you run the data, they're not the top 25%; they're the bottom. But if you want to send out maybe an incentive or some sort of a promotion for your bottom ones, then you could pull that data and they would be on your list to send them one. So it can be used for that. So there's some very cool stuff there. So I'm going to go back to the contact card, and I'm going to click on Jeff Progalski. So actually Jeff's on the call, and this is an individual contact card. You can see here is Jeff. He's a person, he's a customer, I'm a salesperson, and you can see here the activity that Jeff and I have had and the previous salespeople with Jeff, or maybe somebody in accounting that did their financial transactions. So I can scroll down. Now you can see that his questionnaire is a lot different than the other questionnaire. So we can see here that Jeff has attended Summit for the last 5 years. So maybe we want to know that. We want some information about his personality level. You know, there's some more information about his hobbies and so forth. And what's good about that is, let's say you having a golf outing and Jeff doesn't like golf. Why would you want to invite Jeff to golf? So you can actually filter that for doing some type of marketing campaigns. So what I want to do here is, if I click on the bar here, you can see there's different things that are set up under here. And this is stuff that when you set up your Business Central, your pane here, this is what's going to really get into effect when you're working with your consultant here. It's like, what do you want to see when you click on these, right? You want to create an interaction here. You have your process. If I click on navigate, it gives you a lot more information. So what I'm going to do here is, if I want to add Jeff's picture, I can add it. Where it says profiles, this is kind of going to get into the profile questionnaire, right? So this is information that we might want to know about Jeff or whoever. And this is a questionnaire that says demographic. So if I click on the dots here, you can see here that we have 4 questionnaires set up for an individual. And you can add and make as many as you like. So if I click on person, you're going to see that it changes, right? You can maybe have a favorite football team, you know, what their hobbies, if they attended Summit. This is information that you can use to help you remember to take better care of your customer. So I'm going to X out of there. So let me go back here to navigate. And what I want to do is kind of get into what are things that most salespeople or sales teams do, right? So if I look over here, I have where it says task. So what are tasks? So tasks are to-dos, right? So we want to see, these are to-dos that Jeff has to go on, that to-dos for Jeff. So if you look at here, like these are some, you can see if they're tied to an opportunity, which they're tied to an opportunity here. What's a salesperson code for them? What's a description of the task? Or let's say I want to create a task, right? So what I want to do is I want to remember that I'm going to have a phone call with Jeff. All right, I want to call Jeff about upcoming promotion, right? And I can put on here what date do I want to do that. So I'm going to put out here, I'm going to do that tomorrow. And you can either put a time if you want to. I click OK. It's now created a task for me to call Jeff tomorrow. So if I go back here, let me click on navigate. Well, let me go back to actions here. You can see here it says create interaction. So an interaction is maybe I just had a meeting with Jeff. Okay. So there's some templates that are set up, and you can see right here there's a couple asterisks. Okay. And those are required information. So what we have set up here is that, did you have an email with Jeff? Did you have maybe talk to him, invite him to the golf event? But like I say, I had an incoming phone call with Jeff. So you can see here it populated that. And then you can even have an evaluation. Was it a good call? Yeah, it was a real positive call, because every call with Jeff is a positive call, right? And you can even put here how many minutes it was, or if it's part of a campaign, you can put that on here. So now you just logged in your interaction, right? So now we know that's activity that you did with Jeff. So one of the things too, if I click on Spotsmeyer, and if I click over here to navigate, where it says customer, if I click on customer, then it's going to pull up the customer card. This has a lot of the different financial information we were talking about here. And this is mainly what your financial people would operate in. And you can see here it says customer card and not contact card. All right, so I'm going to go back to the main page, because really at the end of the day, people want to use the relationship management for their opportunities in their pipeline. So I'm going to click on opportunities here. So when I click on it, right here, the filter shows all. So this is going to have all my opportunities and whatever date range I have set up. And it's going to show here the data was created, what's the description of the opportunity, who the salesperson is, what's the progress of it, and what's the current sales cycle stage of it. Did we send a quote out to them? I mean, it can give some very detailed information, right? What is it worth? What's the calculated value? And then if there's even a campaign assigned to it. And if I want, I can filter here. If I click on here, I just want to see all my open opportunities. Maybe I want to filter my open opportunities for this for the quarter, my close opportunities for a year. This is where you'd filter for it. Okay. So what I want to do is I want to search an opportunity that I created for myself. I type in here sell. Oh, look at this. Sell baseball bats to the Cubs. If you've been on any of my webinars, you know I'm a Cub fan. So what I did is, this is an opportunity that I've created, and I wanted to kind of check on it. So you can see here, here's my contact. I put my son's name as a contact. I'm the salesperson code here, and this sales cycle code, right? This says first large, so it's a new large a customer. And below shows the sales cycle stages, where I am at, right? You can see the initial one, how I moved it up here, and it shows a calculated value. And I'm going to kind of get into that a little bit more when I go through the sales cycles. But over here on the statistics, you can see here I've had a couple interactions. I'm on the third phase of my sales cycle. What's the estimated value, my chance of winning? These are things that that you can do on your opportunities. So I'm going to go back here, and I'm going to click on search. So I want to talk about sales cycles. This is very important. So when I click on sales cycles, this is what sales cycles you choose for whatever opportunity that you're doing. Now we have quite a few on here, and a lot of them are on here because we do demos and we show customers, but most likely you're going to have a few, right? Because right here I have new enterprise opportunity, existing large customer, existing small, first time large, first time small. And if I click over here on enterprise, I want to see the stages I have set up. So I'm going to click on stages here. And you can see here that I have 6 stages set up for my enterprise opportunity. And this is where understanding your sales process is important, because if you've been doing what you've been doing for a long time, you should know some of these metrics and numbers. So if you know that from all the enterprise deals that you bring in that you close 60%, well then 60% should be your close ratio, right? And if you know what steps it takes to get you to that offer, to the close, to where you set a proposal, this is where you set that up. So you can see here that I have an initial discussion and percent of completed of the process. Now this is the process, this is the chance of success. As I said earlier, if it's 60% here of winning those deals, then it's going to top out at 60%. When you close it, win or lose it, that's 100% of that cycle, right? But that the win probability is different. So you can see here initial discussion. Hey, how you doing? Maybe you met them at a trade show. hey, let's have that deeper dive conversation. So you can advance the stage to the discovery call, which is part of your process. And you can see here that's 30% of your stage, but a 33% chance of success. And there's an activity code you can create so you can kind of see here, right? The needs to call, then a presentation, maybe it's a follow-up presentation or a demo, but this is things that you can use to advance it. And then by having those in, it's a helpful reminder for the salespeople to move their deals down the sales process. But there are also over here, if you look here, there's some steps that are available, right? Because if you look here, it says acquired quote required. Now, if I click on learn more, what it does, this is very cool because you notice that it's kind of popped up a few times. It's going to take you to the Microsoft Docs website on how to set this stuff up. So if you or your salesperson may be struggling like I'm not sure, a lot of times you can just click on here and it's going to show you how to do that. So, but these are like the quote required. So we don't have to request a quote for personal meeting, right? Hey, how you doing? Here's your quote. But you can see here that we can't skip that step for a proposal, because when you send a proposal, you usually send your quote. But you can see here, these are steps that can be skipped. Okay, after the initial call and discovery call, maybe they're sold, you had them at a low, and they want to buy from you. So they're allowed to skip these steps before you go to proposal. So these are things you can set up. There's also a date formula. So like right here it says 30D. So if I put in 14D, that's 14 days, and hit tab, it's going to change it to 14 days. And then I have here 2M is 2 months. You can change that to 1 month, whatever you want to change, to where they're required to complete this next step by then. So that's what some of the availability of utilizing this for. And there's comments if you want to add comments. So let me go back, because I want to go to existing small. Because let's say you're on the other one was a new customer. This is one you've had for a while, right? A current customer. If I click on stages, you can see here that it's only 4 stages, right? Because you already know them, you're already transacting with them. So they may reach out and say, hey, I'm interested in buying this, so maybe you just do a presentation and boom, you go right to proposal. You can see these are all different, but we've adjusted that to that process. That's why it's important. And when you create an opportunity, you create whatever sales cycle you want for the salesperson to follow. So that can help you win more deals. All right, so what I want to do here, I'm kind of winding down here. I'm going to get back to my role center. And you can see here on my ribbon, I kind of added a few things, because as a sales manager, I want to see all the opportunities that we have. So I have an opportunity list, and you can search this through opportunities, but I wanted this to come up quicker, so I created this. So I can search by the number of the opportunity. If I want to search by a salesperson, if a campaign number, creation date, if they're closed or open. Okay, so what I want to do, if I type in 1-1-20 ... then 12.31.21, and I hit print and preview, it's going to show me all the ones that I've had for the last year. Now, I'm going to pop this out here, and you can see here it's going to list it, and it's going to give me all the opportunities I have. That it shows that I ran it, what time I ran it, and the time frame I ran it for. But this is, remember, wide open pipeline. Everything that's open, closed, but it's going to show me here all the descriptions of the opportunity, what sales cycle code did we use, where are we at in the process. And so if I want to get more granular, what I can do here is I'm going to go back, and I'm going to search by salesperson. So I want to see just my opportunities. I click on here, and I hit print and preview, and it's going to show all the opportunities. I better get going. I only got 3 opportunities, right? So you can see the opportunities that I have set up here, what sales part of the stage cycle I'm in, my probability of winning. So also on here is that I can, if I want to see the activity of my salespeople, right? I created a shortcut for my tasks, so I can filter by a salesperson, team code. If I team code, like if my sales team, marketing team, or whoever I want to view, if there's any date range that I want to view the task on here. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go on here and hit Steve Waltz again. Click on that, hit print and preview and close. It's going to show here all the tasks I have coming up, right? So that's just a way to keep up to date with the system. So Angie, I'm going to wind up here. What I wanted to do, everybody, was show you basically some of the functionality that was in the availability of it. You can see here's a customer top 10 list. There's so many things you can search and filter out here, but I wanted to leave some time to open it up for any questions.
Thank you, Steve. As of this point, no questions have come through, but if anybody does have any, please go ahead and type them in so we can get those addressed.
And as we're
Steve,
waiting for questions to come, oh,
go
did
ahead.
one come in? No, did one
No,
come
I
in?
was just gonna ask, what are some questions that you commonly get asked about someone, researching this for the first time?
Oh, the biggest question I think we hear at Innovia is if there's interest in relationship management is should I use Salesforce, Microsoft for sales, or the relationship management in Business Central? And so we actually use Dynamics for sales because we're a Microsoft partner. And I think some of the differences. So if I tell folks is look, if if you own Business Central or NAV, and what I went over was Business Central, but from about I would say NAV 2017 up, it's got a pretty good relationship management system in it. But if you're truly doing what I just kind of showed you, right, managing your pipeline, creating to-dos, understanding your sales cycle, you already own it. Now, there's obviously some other tools that are intuitive to the other ones, but they cost a lot more money. So it really depends on, especially if you haven't used it and the failure rate so high, is that you're not connecting this to Salesforce. You're not connecting this to Microsoft Dynamics CRM. You're using the relationship management that's already inherent in the system. So the data is there. So I honestly believe that you get more accurate, quicker data on here. But some of the reports, but you can use Power BI. Maybe some word templates and email campaigns is a little bit not as robust as some of the other ones. But I would say this what I get asked is, would this work for us? And it's like, it works for a lot of our customers.
Okay, Steve, thank you for that. We did have a question that came through. So what profile were you set up for? Meaning the role center profile.
So the one I used was for sales and sales relationship manager.
Got it. Okay.
And,
thank you.
And there's a few, there's a sales and marketing. They're similar. The goal of those is to have a standard setup for you for things that you would want to see. But it's easy to customize that. And I do suggest that when any role center, if you're not even if you're on the financial side of things, that you customize it to where you have less clicks and you see what you want to see quicker at your screen. It makes it to where you want to use the system more.
Okay, well, I believe those are the only questions that we had for you. So thank you for presenting, Steve. It was very informative, and I hope each of you got a little bit of takeaway that you can go back and reference this on. All right, so we're going to go ahead and wrap up. And we do have another webinar coming up tomorrow. We have one of our partners, VersaPay, who's going to be presenting on reduce AR costs and increase efficiency with VersaPay's advanced cash app. And you can check out our website for more of our upcoming events, and that's innovia.com/events. And we also have our training workshop page for you to view training workshops, and that's innovia.com/workshops. So check that out and see what training workshop fits your role best so you can register for the appropriate one. And as always, don't forget about our Innovia Conversation podcast. As you know, Steve is one of the hosts for that, him and Jeff Pergolski. And you can learn more about the podcast on our podcast page, and that's innovia.com/podcast. So browse the selection that we have and subscribe so you'll be notified when those new episodes air. And we do have our conference page set up on our website. And you can check out that at inovia.com/conferences. And that will be coming up May 4th and 5th here in South Bend, Indiana. So register for that. That is a free event for you to attend. All right. Well, thank you again, everyone, for joining us. And we look forward to seeing you soon on another Inovia webinar. Thank you, Steve.